1st, 2020. Thank you for being here. And we will start off by having Commissioner Summers give us the invocation, and then our auditor, Tom Cotter, will lead us in the pledge.
Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this week we've been able to exercise our duties to be able to vote in this free country. We understand and realize that there are peoples throughout the world that don't get this privilege. We are so glad that our community has come forth and exercised that right to its fullest. We appreciate all the people that are keeping us safe, not only in our county, but throughout our nation. Please bring them home. A special blessing is going out to the Allen family this week as they bury their son here in Box Elder County, and bless the funeral and arrangements and the things that are going on, that the family will be blessed. Please continue to watch over us. Please help us to do the things that are right. We appreciate the rain we've had, and help us that we might make proper and correct choices in all we do, and say these things humbly in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thanks, Stan, and thanks, Tom. Did you guys get a chance to look over the minutes from June 17th?
They didn't actually get included.
They didn't get included in there?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay, so we'll skip that. All right. Anything to review, or any future agenda items? Or any former agenda items?
Nope, I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Our fire issues. What have you guys heard while I've been gone? I haven't heard anything other than that.
We got a new one today. I was coming in from the Devil's Playground and seeing 2 fire people headed out. Called Corey. He said that as far as they knew, it was still on the Nevada side, but the prevailing winds were blowing it towards the Utah side. So I know that I passed 2 brush trucks on the way out, and a third one was just getting on the freeway at Snowville on my way out. So that's the last thing that I'd heard, that it's just out there on the Nevada border headed this way.
Okay. Well, we'll keep praying for rain then. Hopefully keep the fires down. So, do we have any, I guess, emergency management issues? Do you have any COVID updates?
Yeah. Today was a good day. Just 20 new cases today, which is really good for the other district. We've been substantially higher than that for quite a while. I'm not sure what the other state totals were. I didn't have a chance to look at those. 499. So okay. But we're up to 150 in Box Elder, 2 hospitalized. Cash is at 1470, and so they've really had a spike over there. I was over there for some meetings today, and I was really surprised to see the number of folks over there wearing a mask. I had mine on the whole time. I usually don't if I'm 6 feet apart, but it's pretty rough over there. So anyway, we're hoping that we're turning the corner in warm weather, but they said that we still need to be vigilant and keep an eye out so we don't overwhelm the facilities. So
You want to tell them about the West Liberty test too?
yeah,
pretty good.
West Liberty did a mass test. They did about 650 employees out there, and only 12 came back positive. So it was well under not only the national rate, but the state rate. And out of those 12 that came back positive, I think 10 were asymptomatic. And so West Liberty has already been doing their own contact tracing. And so if they find anybody that has it, they immediately send them home, keep them isolated. They trace and see who has been in contact with them and handle it on their own. And so they've done an amazing job. And the health department would actually like to get their health officer to train some other companies within the district. So they've just done a super job. So that was good news. Yeah, and we'll have some more stuff on that, on the COVID funding that's on the agenda later. So.
Okay, great, thanks. Let's see, I think that's it. Do you have anything, Commissioner Summers?
No,
Okay,
nope, I'm good.
all right, then we'll move on to our 505 item. Isabel Olson, come on up and sit down here to the mic if you can and state your name for the record.
Okay, my name is Isabel Olson.
Yeah.
You know,
Go ahead.
like to.
Yeah, you can sit down if you like. Just speak into the microphone so that she can get it recorded. Thank
Okay.
you.
My name is Isabel Olsen. I've been a single mother since the beginning of the year. I'm a teacher. I'm an immigrant as well. I'm a sole support of my two kids and I just realized that I owe taxes from my house, and I want to pay them. I believe that working hard is the way to succeed. But I'm asking to please, if you can forgive the penalties and the interest on those back taxes. I think I can do it. I can pay for my taxes if you would.
Is this just for 1 year, or is this how many?
It's 2 years. I wasn't aware of it. Like I said, I've been single mother from the beginning of this, since January, and I'm a teacher, so I don't earn that much money. And I the sole support of my two kids and
Okay.
And I want to pay for it. And it really, I think,
How much, Sean, do you know how much the taxes or the interest and penalties are?
here it is.
You have that?
Today, they're $398.74.
So the amount that I think about is that $398, what I'm asking to, if you would forgive, but because I want to pay my taxes. I believe that working hard is the way to succeed. I don't want to ask for.
Did you not see the notifications from the previous year, or what
didn't.
happened?
Like I said, I've been single mother since the beginning of the year. Since January, my husband left me, and I'm a teacher, and I don't earn much, but I save money to pay for these taxes now that I am aware of it, and I want to pay them, and I hopefully can pay them this year, but I need some help in that regard.
Okay. Did you hear all that, Commissioner Summers?
I heard most of it.
Okay. You guys have any comments or any questions you want to ask? So she's looking at $306.56.
There is the count of, yeah,
Oh, and then the penalty of $92.18.
So
Yeah, it was just under 400.
Yeah, so
between the
just
two.
under 400.
So-
Okay.
Okay, that would still leave about $3,600 to pay to get current for 18 and 19, and then we've got 20 coming up in 6 months or 5 months.
how much for next year?
It would be very, very similar. Yeah,
About
Like
$2,000?
about 2,000 probably.
yeah.
For
Well,
what?
I think it would be $1,700 to $1,800 range. I think, just guessing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I want to pay what I owe right now. Like I said, I don't want.
Okay.
I believe in paying my debts. I don't want to, but I just
Right.
need that little help I needed. Next
Is-
year, I think God will provide, and that's how I feel.
Is it something that you could get current before the end of the year?
I want to
that-
pay
That
the 2 years.
You think you could get it paid
Yeah,
before the
yes.
end of the year?
I think, yes. I think I can pay those. Next year, like I said, I just got to keep working, and I have a second job at Smith's. I work as teacher. My second job is as a Smith's night shift.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I sympathize with your situation, and I'm sorry you've had to deal with that. It's not easy being a single parent.
Sorry, but
So-
I can do it, and I believe I can do it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you coming here today, so.
Qualify for circuit breaker or anything?
We would probably need to get some additional financial info, but that's definitely worth looking into.
Is that something we
You
can look at,
haven't
Tom?
seen any financial info on this, Tom, have you?
No, I can talk to her.
Okay.
Okay.
That's another, and I'm glad that Commissioner Summers brought that up. I was going to mention it before we were done, but Ms. Olson, that is something that you could look into. There's a program at Circuit Breaker, and based on income, if your income meets a certain threshold, then you can qualify for a reduced amount, and that's what it's for. It wouldn't do
To
anything
assist.
for prior years,
Yeah.
but it could help in the future.
I would like to look in the future because I don't like to ask for things if I feel like I can do it.
Right.
And
Sure.
again, I am here to, I like this country, I love this country, even if it's not my own, because I believe in the opportunities they give me. And I don't want to take from people that can have that help. So if I can take the help, if I can pay right now and just give me that forgiveness on those penalties, I think I can save money and do it. And yes, I will look into that. But if I don't need to get into that would be good
Okay.
too. But yeah, I don't want to take from others either,
No, that's a
No.
great attitude. Yeah, Mr. Cotter back there, our auditor, would be one to talk to get additional information if you wanted to pursue that in the future. But
Hey, Scott,
sure.
give her Bragg's number too, because some of that emergency meeting money that we were talking about last week might actually be able to be taken care of in this aspect too. Emergency rent / payments and things like that. So see if she can go down to Bragg and talk to Bragg.
I don't know if it
People
would
do about it.
qualify because that was COVID related. And these are prior
Yeah.
to COVID.
Yeah.
So circuit breaker
I'd still
going
have to
forward
check
would
it out.
work, but yeah,
Yeah.
good thought.
It won't help with anything in
Yeah,
the
this
past.
is just in the
but-
past, so. No, I appreciate your situation, Ms. Olson, and everything that you're trying to do. I would make the motion that we forgive the penalty and the interest on this and just ask that you make it current as soon as possible. And appreciate everything you're doing to take care of you and the two kids.
Appreciate it.
And I'll second that motion.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Scott, second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, motion passes. Thank you for coming in and you, like say, maybe want to visit with Mr. Cotter before you leave or get his information so you can visit with him on that
Appreciate it. Thank you.
moving forward.
Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Oh, you want this back?
Thank you very much.
Okay. Brett Merkley. Come on up. Yeah, we're gonna put you in the chair.
Which one do you want to talk about first?
Let's
Oh,
look
you
at
only
the-
have the one on there.
Just had the fire and medical services.
Okay, I thought there was going to be another one on there too, related to the Ag Business Park. But anyway, we can talk fire and reimbursement.
Okay.
We have an existing, I've talked to a couple of commissioners before, we have an existing agreement with the county to provide fire services outside our city boundaries that covers basically, you know, certain costs. Certain trucks show up, you pay us a certain fee, a certain number of people, and so we get reimbursed for that, but we're not getting reimbursed for the medical calls. And medical calls are probably, well, they are the most significant number of calls that we get. And the unincorporated part of the county represents about a third of our calls that we're getting. And last year, we ended up somewhere north of 430 calls for the year. Most of those are medical. So really what I'm looking for is more of a long-term solution that kind of covers our expenses related to the coverage of the county area and get something firmed up so that we have something to plan on or something to budget to cover all that need. If we wanted to go to per house coverage, we sent a circulated a petition through the unincorporated part. There were a significant number of people signed it to support fire and support this kind of change. I'd be more than happy to share those results with you or give you those names if that's something you're interested in. But really what I'm looking for is something more permanent, more stable, and that allows us to kind of move forward, recognizing the county's share of that expense to handle that coverage.
Okay. And we've talked about this before, but and obviously it's just been talked, but you know, with the Central Fire District, we've looked at potentially expanding that to take on all in unincorporated area and kind of have a unified fire department and possibly be able to, you know, take care of all that, so we'd have more of a purchasing power, I guess, you know, with the numbers and doing something that way to be able to move us forward with a what's the word I'm thinking of? With a group to where we could actually do some more of these things and be a little bit more efficient with funds rather than individual small clusters.
I got you, but for now, we're living with what is. And what is now, basically the county's gotten a service for a prolonged period of time, which I don't get reimbursed for. So if I go out and our guys who've gone through all the training that we paid for as a city, I don't get any reimbursement for that. I don't get reimbursement for the vehicle, don't get reimbursement for the amount that I'm paying them to do that coverage. And that's really what I'm looking for is because we're not transporting, because we don't have an ambulance. We need like a solution, when I say permanent, at least a known. And then if everybody in the county decides to go countywide or centralized or whatever, then we could explore what that means at that point in time. There may be a better way to do it than what we're doing it now, but for now we're stuck with what I've got. So that's what I'm looking at.
Hey, Mayor, when we talked about this before, we actually ran a bill that didn't get funded for rural EMS, and I don't know if you're aware of that. I remember talking to you about it.
Yeah, I remember.
So it passed everything and then didn't get funded. And basically it was going to cover everything you were talking about, was all the costs for training and all those type of things. And then it was actually going to pay you the mileage from unincorporated at the same time. So, you know, with the way things are at the state, I'm not sure that they loved the bill, everything went through, but then they didn't fund it in the wee hours of the last time. So, because you're not the only, like I said, there's plenty of people down south that are having the same problems covering, you know, everywhere and anything. So I'd be willing to take a look at what you were talking about and give us the, you know, the figures and things that you've seen of how many people would be willing to, you know, do that. And, you know, maybe we take a look and see about doing the rooftop stuff.
Stan, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
Yeah.
I just need to, I realize I'm late. I need to open a public hearing for the,
You're fine.
what is it, surplus property? Just to acknowledge that. So anyway, go ahead. That's something we can probably have a discussion on.
I'm looking for something sooner versus later, because we really need to figure out how we're going to cover that and how that funding, I mean, if we're going to continue to provide that coverage, then we need to come to agreement. And, you know, we've got truth in taxation that's all about putting more money into our fire department. That's the sole purpose of our increase. So, you know, if we're going to continue to provide that service, then we need to update the agreement. So that's my bottom line. And if you want to relook or revisit it, that's fine, but I'd prefer to have that resolved in the next couple of weeks with a game plan we're all comfortable with, that we can all move forward with.
Okay.
If that's doable.
I'm agreeable with that.
Yeah, it is. You know, like we've mentioned, we've talked about it a lot, and we've hoped for some solutions that would come our way, but they just haven't. We were hoping that something would come down from the other state to help some of the other rural areas and unincorporated.
That'd be ideal.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, let's try and get together here in the next week or two then and see if we can hash some stuff out.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thanks.
Appreciate you coming.
Thanks, Mayor.
Thanks, Mayor. Okay. All right. So it looks like Tom's still out. Should we skip?
This one got skipped.
Oh, that's the one that we're skipping.
Yeah, this one needed to be
That's right.
resolution, so we'll do it next meeting.
Man, I'm glad you're on top of things.
I had more than 2.5
You-
hours of
you
sleep
had a little more
last
sleep
night.
than me.
Yeah, so I'm good.
Okay, Scott Lyons, you want to come on up? And we'll talk about the rezone, and then we can get into the other.
All right, so the rezone request, this is ordinance number 517. This would amend the Boxelor County zoning map by rezoning approximately 3,300.43 acres. So this is located, basically it's the majority of Little Mountain, at least probably the west 2/3 or 3/4 of Little Mountain at least. So it's currently zoned MU 40, which is multiple use 40 acre, A20, which is agricultural 20 acre, and unzoned. So 3 different zones sit over this piece of land. The landowner's requesting that the zoning map be amended to MGEX, which is mining, quarry, sand, and gravel excavation zone. He feels that that's the best use of the property. This application has gone before the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission held a public hearing in June on it. One resident spoke during that public hearing, just asking about one of the access points to this property. The property currently has 3 different access points. And so she was just wondering to clarify one of those access points. Other than that, there was no further public comment. With that being said, the Planning Commission forwarded a recommendation of approval to the County Commission, and now it's before you. So.
No, I was there at the Planning Commission, and there were a lot of good questions that were asked. I think one of the biggest concerns was the amount of traffic that could potentially go through. And so I think that was the other reason behind the question on the number of different entrances or exits out of the other property. And it sounds like that was going to be, very well controlled and wasn't going to be an issue. And so that was probably the single biggest question I had myself. So.
Okay. Well, I don't have anything. I'd entertain a motion if.
Yeah, I would make a
All right.
motion that we approve the Little Mountain Ranch rezone 3,300 acres from MU 40 and A20 to MGEX.
Second.
Oh, yeah, ordinance number 517 is the ordinance number.
I'll still second it.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Scott, second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right. You want to discuss or just give us a little background on this surplus property?
Yeah, so this surplus property is located just north of the Bear River Health Department there within Tremont City. And it went through it's basically been through the full surplus disposal process. One step in that, I guess, is that it goes to the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission reviewed it. They see no reason that basically their review looks at it to see if it violates in any way the county's general plan or the county's land use code. They didn't find anything in that regard. So they have no opposition to it being disposed of. Then this step, the public hearing, is another requirement, and then at that point the County Commission would just need to decide how they would prefer to value the property to determine the sales price, and if they want to proceed with the sale. So I guess, yeah.
So we'd have to determine whether we wanted to use our own assessing department or go out and have it.
Yeah, so there's a couple different ways it can be done. The county assessor is one of those ways. A third-party disinterested appraiser is one of those ways. What do you call it? A silent auction or a bid process. So there's a couple different ways it can be done. The person interested in the property, what they felt would probably be the most fair way was the party appraiser. But I just asked for their input. Ultimately, the decision is yours, so.
Okay. All right, with that, we'll go ahead and have our, anybody that wants to comment on this parcel that is up for disposal, please do so. If not, then I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second, sorry.
I have a motion by Commissioner Scott, second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay.
So the prospective buyer is looking for guidance on which valuation methodology. I like the idea of an independent third-party appraiser as well. I think that's the most equitable way to go. They could retain their own, but then we might complain, and they may complain if we use somebody from, a county facility, and they came to us in good faith. So I don't know that an auction or something is the right way to go. If it's fair market value, I think that's the fairest way.
I agree with that.
Okay, so do we need a motion to, or do we just give you instruction to proceed that way?
Instruction, motion, what would you prefer?
Probably a motion that you've had the public hearing and you want to proceed.
Okay.
Okay,
So are you,
so we'll just make a motion to have you proceed in that manner with third-party.
so once
Appraisal.
the appraisal's done, do you want it to come back before you for the final motion to sell? Or do you want to just make all of that in one motion? Once the appraisal's done, then we can proceed with the deed that conveys the property.
I think it ought to come back.
I think it needs to come back.
Appraisal's
Yeah.
gonna show.
Yeah, that would be
We
the only
need to look
concern
at
that I
that.
have is
So,
if for some reason the appraisal comes back and it says that it's $6,000,
Okay.
probably wouldn't fly.
Okay.
I don't think that would happen, but yeah, I think that's what we've done in the past is after there's been an independent appraisal, they've come back for the final.
so we'll just have you do that.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah, I would make a motion that the perspective that this property go through an independent appraisal process for evaluation.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Scott, second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Oh, and I believe that the purchaser is the one that's responsible for the paying for the appraisal.
Ultimately, that's up to you. That is historically how the county's done it, though.
That's
Okay, that would be my
point.
recommendation as well because
They're the interested buyers.
they're the interested
That's what
party.
we've usually done.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, please.
You okay with that motion, Commissioner Summers? If I amend
Yeah.
it? Okay.
Yeah, I'll amend my second to fit that motion.
Okay.
Thanks, Scott.
All right. So we have the right of way.
Yeah, so I guess I can just give a quick background on both of these. These are right-of-way contracts. This is surplus property. It's been through the full process. And these are contracts that Brigham City uses in the process of purchasing. There were a couple items in the contracts that came before you at the last county commission meeting that the county attorney had highlighted and that you ended up not being comfortable with. I took those contracts, talked with Brigham City. They said to revise them, send them back to them. So I pulled all of those items that were of concern. They reviewed them and they were comfortable with the revised contract. And so that is what I'm bringing back before you today. The revised contract has been reviewed by the county attorney, and he is now comfortable with the contract. So those are contracts number 20-38 and 20-39.
If I remember right, it was primarily that they had the ability to go in there and start work immediately. If there was anything on there, we had to warranty it
Right.
almost in perpetuity. Okay. Very good. No, and we really appreciate Steve for catching some of these, catching all of these things, because we send him a lot of contracts.
Yeah.
So
Okay, I'd entertain a motion.
I would make a motion that we approve contract number 20-38 for the Brigham City right-of-way.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Scott, second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And 20-39 is the exact same thing, just a different parcel.
Correct.
Okay. I'd make a motion that we approve contract number 20-39 for the second Brigham City right-of-way.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Scott, second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay,
Thank you.
great.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, Scott. Okay, so the grandma request, we don't need to worry about that. So let's bypass that. Appointment of county commission member to the advisory board. Stanley, how do you feel about having me do that?
I would say yes, if you'll take that one on.
You
that'd
don't
be
want to
great.
do rock, paper, scissors or anything?
Well, we can't see what you're doing anyway.
Yeah, that's
so
true. You'd always win.
Yeah, you'd always win.
So, no, I think where I've been dealing with emergency services and the sheriff's department.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Kind of falls in that line, so I'll do that. Steve said it's probably a quarterly thing, so that's something that I can probably be a part of, so.
And where it's there in Brigham, you know, if you need any help, you know, for some time, for whatever, just call me and I'll pinch it.
Yeah, and I'm not far away either.
Yeah.
So
I figured I could do that, so, okay.
all
Well,
right.
then,
I would make a motion that we appoint Commissioner Hadfield to be the county commission representative to the advisory board of the Box Elder County Children's Justice Center.
Second that motion.
I have a motion by Commissioner Scott, second by Commissioner Summers, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Looks like we're to the COVID-19 funds. Commissioner Scott.
Okay, I got a request, just came in today from the health department. And also, I would have to forward it on, they just sent it to me. We've asked our departments to get a list together, and our auditor, Tom Cotter, is going to kind of be the guy in charge of looking at these funds and where they're going, and then we would have to approve the expenditure here in the commission meeting. But we just wanted to get those prioritized. The ask from the health department was just under $500,000. Right now, we've received 1.9 million. There is a little bit of confusion. I spoke with Mark on the way here. The way that it was read from a couple of the other agencies was that we had received 1/3 in June, and that we would receive other money as it came in from the state. And that was the way that it was going to be dispersed. But that is not your understanding. Is that correct, Mark?
No, I think we're gonna get it in thirds, but my understanding is our total amount was 1.7 to be delivered in thirds. Okay, the 5.9 that we discussed was the total allocation to Box Elder County, including all jurisdictions.
But Tom has already received 1.9.
All I know is what I was told on the deal, so.
Okay, we're still working out the details because it's obviously a big difference if it's 1.9 that's coming in or if it's 5.7. And so we need to know how much is coming in before we spend it. If it is 5.7, then the ask from the health department amounts to about 9% of that. Would primarily be used for salaries for personnel, for their epidemiologists, their contact tracing, and testing on the hot spots as they crop up. Also a contingency in there for PPE for the health department employees and housing. Right now they have a contract with Utah State to house folks that are in quarantine if they can't stay at their location, but that is going to expire when the students get back to school. And so they've got about a 4 or 5 page spreadsheet that breaks it down. And then I know that Mark has already purchased some PPE, has some of that requested for departments and for internal usage. And there's a couple of projects we've been working on for upgrades at the different facilities to make them a little bit safer as far as sanitation and cleanliness and things of that nature. But other than that, we really haven't had much more come in to my knowledge. But we do have until November 30th to spend these funds. And so we can go back and recoup costs that were incurred since this kind of happened late February, early March. And so there's a lot of different things that can be done, but we need to get this done sooner than later. And so I'll get some clarification on the funding, and then we can make some decisions going forward, I guess.
Okay.
Was there any thoughts that you gentlemen had or you've received from any of the departments or elected officials? Okay.
I haven't, other than I talked with the gentleman at the governor's office about the potential of helping with all the COVID tourism that we've had out at the Spiral Jetty and out west, as far as restrooms, to help with some of the problems that's creating as far as a health issue.
Well, and I don't think I've mentioned it in here. Hopefully nobody's had dinner yet, but it is what it is. One of the most effective testing that they've been able to do is they've actually been able to test at certain locations, and so at like junction lines and sewer facilities, and they've actually been able to see that as a precursor to hotspots, and so the effluent that's going down lets them know, hey, there was this much here last week, and now it's elevated to 60 times what it was. And so they caught that in Hiram before they actually had the major breakout over there with JBS. And they've been able to see it in a couple of other places. And so it's a very good precursor. And so if we have that kind of stuff going on out at the Spiral Jetty and Devil's Playground and there aren't facilities, it's a major issue, not only from a COVID standpoint, but just from public sanitation. And so in our call that we had with one of the counselors from the Treasury Department on Monday, that was one of the specific questions that was asked about having bathroom facilities as a way to use some of this COVID money. And the Treasury counselor said, yes, absolutely, it can be used for that. So that's another possibility.
Yeah.
So, but we'll get some additional info. Really appreciate Mark being the lead on this. He's on the phone, updating us with our situation reports, hitting tri-county meetings, and so we appreciate his work on this and taking the point on all the PPE and everything. So,
okay, thanks. Stan, you want to talk about the 2.5 non-attainment area? Hello? Stan, you there?
Sorry, I muted myself.
That's a
wish
first.
you guys had that button. I can see Marta smiling because she's probably thinking she can mute me.
She's tired, but she still smiled.
I don't know if Scott, have you got the letter there that you could actually read?
I do.
What we got?
yeah.
If you want to read it, this is just something we've been trying to get done. Well, as long as me and Jeff Scott have been commissioners, and I think we're finally just kind of making it through that last leg, and this is going to be something good for our area, and it's good for the clean air and everything else that's happening around us. So if you just want to read that, I just want to make people aware of how long it takes to get something done through government. So
Amen. Yeah, this was addressed to Commissioner Summers, June 15th, 2020 is when we received it. Thank you for your inquiry. This is from the EPA, Region 8. They cover Utah and the Intermountain West. Thank you for your inquiry on the status of the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency's action on the state of Utah's request to redesignate to attainment the Salt Lake City Sirius PM 2.5 non-attainment area, which includes parts of Box Elder County. As you are aware, the state submitted their request to the EPA on January 13, 2020. Utah's request to redesignate includes a demonstration that the Salt Lake City area has attained the standard and also a maintenance plan to ensure that the area does not fall back into non-attainment status. While we worked with the state extensively as they developed their request, the Clean Air Act requires that we now formally evaluate the proposal, in particular regarding the maintenance plan's technical and regulatory adequacy. We plan to propose our action on the request in fall 2020 and then finalize our action by the end of calendar year 2020. In addition to our planned action on the state's redesignation request, the EPA finalized a clean data determination for the Salt Lake City PM 2.5 non-attainment area on September 27, 2019. This determination suspended many of the Clean Air Act requirements for the area. Also on June 8, 2020, the EPA proposed a determination of attainment by the attainment date, which recognizes that the area has attained by the Sirius PM 2.5 attainment date of December 31, 2019, using certified data from 2017 through 2019. If you have further concerns or questions, please contact me. And it was signed Gregory Sopkin, Regional Administrator. The nice thing about this is they have finally stated in a letter that we have met the requirements. And we have not been able to get that since, was it 2012?
Before 2012.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's been quite a while. One of the first things we tried to do was actually get out of the area. We said, why don't we have our own little area instead of being partnered with Salt Lake, being put in the same area, because we are rural up here. We are not an urban area, and we just don't have that. And then also the monitoring station is right behind the drive-through over at McDonald's in Brigham City. So it's kind of garbage in, garbage out as far as the monitoring station and the data that they're getting. But they have finally stated that we have met the requirements. It sounds like it's just procedure that they have to go through this fall and submit it. But we're hoping by January 1 of 2021 that we will be officially in an attainment status. That prevents, if we're in a non-attainment status, it prevents a lot of industry from expanding or locating here. They would have to get clean air credits. And so this really opens it up. So appreciate Commissioner Summers big time. He's went to bat on this and has talked with our congressional delegation and other members of EPA and the administration back in D.C. and at the state level for quite a few years now.
John Tanner and a lot of them.
Yeah. So patience.
Have they relocated that monitoring station?
No.
Because I know they took it down.
Yeah, no, they just pulled it.
Oh, okay.
And they, in EPA's own rules now, it says if you're not an ozone watch, that you're not in 2.5 non-attainment. And so I've actually been apologized to on the national level that we were even put on and put in the attainment area at all, because we're not in an ozone watch or anything like that. So I imagine that this is just basically those guys crossing their T's and dotting their I's and making it look like it's not so bad that they made a big mistake in lumping us in with the Wasatch Front. So
it
I think we should be in
didn't
good
get
shape.
swapped. It just got closed down.
Yep.
Yeah, because, I mean, if you look at the topography, it's right there, and it's almost like being inside of a dishwasher, because everything comes in from the west, and it just rolls up against the mountain and then comes back down. Plus, you have all of the emissions from right there off Main Street, let alone what is coming out of the McDonald's vents on the top of their place. So anyway,
Okay.
thanks again.
Oh, that's great. Great work, Commissioner Summers. So,
Thanks, guys. Team effort.
looks like we have a resolution. Sheriff, do you want to come up here for a second really quick? This kind of came about when Commissioner Scott wasn't able to go with us, but Commissioner Summers had an idea. We went around and we delivered pizzas to all the sheriff's department and then all the police stations in our county. just to show appreciation to all the police officers because of the, for lack of better words, the bad rap they've been getting in the media. And as we were talking about it, I said, well, we need to have a resolution basically to let people know that we really do support our blue, that we support law enforcement, and we're behind them 100%. We realize that not everybody's perfect, that every once in a while something may be bad, and we deal with it, but overall, we have really good people doing really good things, and I think that's what needs to be emphasized and highlighted. I don't think that's highlighted enough. And so we did a resolution, and Sheriff helped put it together with the Attorney Hatfield's office. Anyway, tell us what you were able to find out, or where you got your information and stuff.
Yeah, I'll let Steve do that part, but
Okay.
but I appreciate this. I had a lot of citizens call when they see the news coverage and the defunding of the police and everything, and I did get a lot of questions about what's going to happen here. So the public's going to appreciate this, get their questions.
I think it not, I don't want to say angered, but it's frustrating because I think as a whole, we do love and appreciate the men that, you know, serve and women that service here in the county, and so it's a kind of a bad black eye for people that shouldn't be getting it.
I'll second it.
Nothing special. We just came up with some language that we felt was appropriate to put in the resolution. I think it's probably appropriate to read it on the end of the record.
Do you want me to read that, Commissioner? Okay.
Go ahead. Commissioner Scott, read it.
Very good. Resolution number 20-10, a resolution of the Box Elder County Commission expressing our continued support of the Box Elder County Sheriff's Office. Whereas there has been turmoil and impassioned debate about law enforcement in this country, and whereas the Box Elder County Sheriff's Office has been tasked with the responsibility with policing our community and keeping it safe, and whereas Sheriff Potter has been elected by the people and entrusted with awesome responsibility of protecting, defending, and providing a safe environment to live in. And whereas Sheriff Potter and his officers time and time again have put their lives at risk and gone into harm's way to protect all who need the help. And whereas the fine deputies of this county deserve the appreciation and respect of the people of this county for the merit, dignity, bravery, and reliability they exhibit each and every day. And whereas the citizens of this county have turned to members of the Sheriff's Office for assistance and support in times of distress, whether they are coping with personal crises or struggling through civil disorder or some disaster. Our community relies on these courageous men and women when it is difficult to stand on our own, and we are indebted to their unwavering public service to our county. Now therefore, let it be resolved by the county legislative body of Box Elder County, state of Utah, with 3 members present and hopefully 3 members voting in favor thereof as follows. We publicly salute our sheriff and all of his brave deputies who place their lives on the line for the safety and security of our citizens and our county, and we reaffirm our commitment to support these brave men and women, both financially and morally, and we commit to stand in their defense as they stand in our defense with the moral and fervent dignity we have come to expect and appreciate.
It's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for helping put that together.
Yeah, it's a lot different conversations going on in some different places right now. So we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, and please pass this on to not just your deputies, but all of your staff as well, because top to bottom, I would stand with any of your deputies, any of your staff, corrections patrol, anybody, anywhere.
And I know when your deputies are out working with some of the other departments, some of the other police departments in the municipalities, to pass that along as well.
Mr. Chair, I would make a motion.
No, go ahead.
I would make a motion that we support and that we sign resolution number 20-10, expressing continued support for Box Elder County Sheriff's Office.
And I'll second that motion. And Kevin, will you please make sure you send that to your Sheriff's Association and to UAC, because I've had people calling me wanting a copy of that so they too can try to do something like we just did.
Will do. Thank you.
Okay. I have a motion by Commissioner Scott, second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Looks like, Jenica, we have the warrant register. Do we have anything for closed session? Do you have any closed session? Okay. Thank you for being here, guys.
Thanks, Mayor. Hey, Commissioner Summers, how are you going to sign these?
I'll come in tomorrow and sign them.
Okay. Just giving you a hard time.
Really?
He hasn't had a hard time in the last week or two.
Well, I've had the
Yeah.
I've had the most sleep out of you three, or out of us three, so I probably ought to be nice.
That's why he sounds the most coherent today.
Repair center, so I just knocked my head a lot. I heard that. Good. Pizza was kind of inspired.
Tell me when you're close and I'll make a motion to adjourn though.
Okay, we're trying to get all our Sherman T. Potters in.
Sherman T. Potter.
Do I need to initial this one, Marlon? Where it's highlighted? All Grander's initials?
Is that a real estate contract?
So I need to initial that, okay. Okay, this is just, oh, this is the same thing, just different parcel, okay. Hand those back to Marlon.
I was gonna say I just signed one for him. All right. Thought I was gonna catch on something. I should have known better.
So did Kristen then get their fire put out?
Okay. Looks like you need your initial on the next page too. Those real estate contracts, they
Oh, I thought I
want
got
your
it.
initials.
Oh,
on
at the
head
bottom.
every page.
Okay, I got those other ones at the top, sorry. Sorry, Stanley, we're almost done.
You're okay. I'm not gonna complain about no sleep to you, since you drove all night to be there.
Okay, we get everything then?
Yeah, it's in
Are we good, Jenica?
the document.
Okay, I think we're done, Stanley.
Did you want to make that final motion, Commissioner?
He muted himself again.
I muted myself again.
We
Motion to
can't, we
adjourn.
can't
Twice in
leave
the
until
same
you
day.
unmute yourself.
Oh, that's funny. Unmute myself. Motion to adjourn?
I guess I'll second that.
I have a motion by Commissioner Summers, a second by Commissioner Scott. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, you guys.
Don't show Jen that mute button.